whisper our first I love you, and one day he'll whisper back, I love you more. These words are written in the margins of a scrapbook containing pictures of the day I was born. Next to this phrase was a picture of Grandma and Grandpa Encheta holding me for the very first time. Since the first moments of my life, my grandparents were by my side. The night before I left for college, I had a nice dinner with them. We went out to a local restaurant, and when the evening was over, saying goodbye to them was a teary and heartfelt event. They told me they would not be seeing me off at the airport the next morning, probably because it would be too hard for Grandma to bear. I knew my last evening on Kauai was going to be the last time I would be with them for a few long months as I embark upon the next great journey known as college. I've always believed that in order to know where we are and where we're going, it's good to know where we came from and how our individual story goes. This is the story of two special people and their house that I grew to know, love, and call my second home. Since I was young, I've spent weekends and various holidays at my grandparents' quaint home on the east side of Kauai in the town of Kapa'a. I've seen the house undergo as many changes as the people living in it, from its early coat of white paint with red trim to an addition of a patio and new coating of green paint. This house has been a solid foundation for me. From my early childhood, I remember the carpeted floors. The color was a distinct mix of orangey brown, faded over many years of greeting our feet. A few years back, they put in hardwood flooring, redid the kitchen, and replaced its appliances. I can still remember what it was like to be a child, sitting at my little table in the living room, the Saturday morning sun shining brightly through the white-laced drapes, Bob the Builder on TV, and a nice plate of fried rice for breakfast. It's always been a stereotype that you leave Grandma's house 10 pounds heavier than when you arrived. Apparently, Grandmas love to cook. For as long as I could remember, Grandpa, who I call Papa, would pick me up every Friday afternoon from school. We'd head to my house to pick up my belongings, stop at a nearby 7-Eleven for a spam musubi, then make the 20-minute drive to Kapa'a. When I started staying over Friday night into Saturday morning, we would always eat the same thing. Fried chicken for dinner, fried rice for breakfast, and lunch was a leftover combination of the two. Of course, I absolutely loved Grandma's fried chicken and rice, so I never complained. I barely had to request it because she already knew how much I loved it. It was a natural thing to cook when I came to visit. There are many other childhood memories I have at this home. I remember their wide open yard surrounded by a green fence, Papa's well-kept golf course-like grass, and Grandma's vast collection of flowers and plants. Here's is where I learned to ride a bicycle. I also had a mini motorized toy vehicle in which I would ride around the yard and wave to the plants as if I were in a parade. Inside the house, one wall has watched me grow over the years. Every so often, I was told to put my back against the wall, stand up straight, and my height would be penciled in over the white paint. Once, my sister measured her height and it was much higher than my marks. I remember waiting for the day I would meet that line. Eventually, to my surprise, I surpassed that line and am now towering above it. To this day, those marks still remain. One thing that is truly unique and a test of patience for me about my grandparents' house is the time capsule I put in their backyard the summer going into my senior year. It is to be opened in July 2026 when I will rediscover the memories that were locked away. This is just another reason why Grandma's house is such a special place and has immense meaning to me. It is true, much in my life has changed. Even though my parents got a divorce and I barely hear from my father, his parents are still very loving and supportive towards me. They treat me like a child of their own and welcome me to their house any time of the day. I've told many stories about my grandparents and their home. I even featured their love story of being high school sweethearts in my high school media class. I love that little house on the east side of Kauai because it's truly a second home. Serving as an escape from weekly life, it holds a special place in my heart. As I look back on all of these memories, I'll hold them close to me. Now that I'm in college, it'll be a few months before I'm able to chow down on Grandma's cooking again. In the meantime, I'll remember the taste of Grandma's fried chicken, fried rice, and the feeling of love that surrounded me.